helping make your life easier. Moms Every Day.
Welcome to Moms Every Day. I'm your host, Jen Lennon. Today I'm joined by Kayla Shaw. She is the Rehabilitation Program Manager for Rocky Mountain Healthcare Services for their BrainCare program. So Kayla, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me, Jen. I really appreciate it.
Well, it is great to have you here because I think this is such an important topic for our community. So let's start off with the bigger picture first. When we say brain injury, sometimes we think that that's a huge traumatic event, but tell me what could trigger a brain injury. It could be a variety of things, right?
Absolutely. Most people, when they think, like you just said, of a brain injury, they think of the big nasty things like assault, gunshot wounds, those sorts of things. But really, it's classified into two different areas. It could be traumatic, which I just went through. It can also be things like falls or anytime the head is struck or hits an object, that's considered a traumatic brain injury.
So you could fall on the ice, you could be in a car accident,
you
could
fall
be
in
playing
the shower.
sports.
Yeah, in the shower, really. I mean, it's just as simple as falling, hitting your head on anything. It could be as simple as that. Now, there is non-traumatic brain injury as well. So that's things like stroke, aneurysm, even exposure to toxic chemicals from chemotherapy can give us a brain injury. Anytime the brain is deprived of oxygen, there's cellular death, which can just create a cascade of pathologies, really.
So in our lives, if we've experienced a brain injury, I know it can translate into really a huge life change emotionally and medically, but let's talk about cognitively, because I know that that's what you deal with. Tell me about the cognitive program the BrainCare program offers, because this is so important.
Absolutely. Most people don't realize that when you sustain a brain injury, regardless of what the circumstances were, your cognitive abilities can really be impacted. So that can be something as simple as counting, communication. It can be organizing, planning your schedule, knowing when to drop your kids off at school on time. It can be a whole variety of issues that come up. And at BrainCare, what we do and what I mainly do is that I assess those. So we have people come into our intake process. We assess them, we go over their goals, we ask them what they have difficulties with, and then we create rehabilitation plans around those deficits and how do we overcome them.
So give me some examples. For example, just cooking. You have a cooking class, because for some people that can be hard.
Absolutely. At our day center, what we have the project group model. So that mainly means that the participants who is involved in our program run things. We're just there to help. So for example, with lunch and cooking, cooking is very commonly affected with a brain injury because there's lots of little steps that we just take for granted.
Sure.
So we have our participants plan, execute the meals, and then cook the meals for the participants at our program.
They even grow the food in some situations.
They do.
That's amazing.
One of our project groups actually grows the food and they use those herbs in the food. Like they just had radishes. They're so excited. They have radishes now that they can now cook
to accomplish those tasks. And even going out, I know you have things like even a trip to a store because that can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. I mean, Walmart, anybody who's been at Walmart or any of those mega grocery stores, when there's so much visual information coming at you and you're already having issues remembering what you have to have, or even maybe having an issue making the grocery list itself.
Sure.
For example,
and adaptive things. I know that you're trying to teach people to use programs because some people can't type, so maybe voice programs?
Yeah, we use something called assistive technology in our day center. So someone would come to us and say, you know, I really want to talk to my family in Florida over Skype. I don't know how to use that technology, so we help them. I can't write an email, so they'll learn how to use dictation software. So we do those things as well.
So obviously a range can be affected. So the point is, if folks give a call, you can get them started?
Absolutely. Come, if you think that you or your loved one is affected by brain injury, please give us a call. Just pick up the phone, get into our intake process. We will walk you through everything.
Great information. Thanks so much, Kayla. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.